What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's been a long while, man. It's been since last year, actually. I think it was like middle of December we did a video, and we took some time off for the holidays, my daughter's birthday. Now it's my wife's birthday, and I mean, so much has happened in the last month and a half, 2 months. I mean, we had snow in Florida yesterday. I'm still standing out here like, Jake, you want to show? Yeah, this is how we're doing it today. All right, just so y'all know, this is 100% real. This is how we're doing it. But I've been sitting there thinking, what can we do a good video on that's going to help everybody coming up in the spring? And Jake and I were talking, and let's talk about cast nets. I know right now a lot of people are throwing artificial, a lot of people are throwing live shrimp, dead shrimp, and it's cold. So are we. We're running near shore trips when the weather allows, and that's exactly what we're doing. But it's not going to stay cold forever, people. I know it may feel like that some days, and we're sitting inside just like everybody else right now, you know, with our teeth chattering every time we go outside, but it's not going to stay cold forever. So let's talk about cast nets, because when spring comes, when spring gets here and this water temperature starts warming up, nothing is going to be able to replace live bait. And I know there's 100 artificial guys out there right now that just cringed when I said that, and y'all are cussing me, and you know, and some people are really good with artificial, but we've got some really exciting stuff happening. We've got kingfish are going to be showing up. This is insane. This wind is crazy. We've got kingfish showing up. Get out there off the beach, find the schools of kingfish, chum them with live bait, throw your bait out, bam, kingfish. We've got tarpon showing up. Tarpon, whether you're live baiting them or dead baiting them, you got to have bait. So you're going to be better off catching your own bait. The snook bite's fixing to go off. The trout bite, the redfish are going to start showing back up. I mean, everything is fixing to happen in Tampa Bay as soon as we get this crap weather out of the way. So like I said, we're going to talk about cast nets today. The main thing that I notice when people call and they want to know, hey, what am I doing wrong when I'm catching bait? Why am I not catching bait? I can see the bait and I'm not catching bait. Choosing the right cast net is 90% of catching bait. The other 10% is what?
Luck?
No, it's not luck. It's not luck. It's knowing where the bait is. It wasn't a trick question. I was trying to think what the other 10% was. It wasn't a trick question, Jake. But, you know, I would say 50% of it is finding the bait, 50% of it is choosing the right cast net. A lot of times you're not catching bait because you're not throwing the right net. And, you know, as everybody out there probably already knows that watches us, we throw dropout cast nets. And you can go to dropoutcastnets.com. You can see all the stuff that I'm fixing to show you on their website, and order the right net for you, and you'll be ready to go. So if there's different applications for different size nets, so I'm going to get a little technical, and I'm going to try to explain it the best I can. Number one rule: do not throw a net that's too big for you. That drives me crazy. And for years I was the same way. When I was younger, man, I'm at the bridge and I'm looking up and down the bridge making sure somebody's looking at me when I throw this monster 12, 14 foot net that I'm throwing, and all it did was hurt my back. I mean, I caught plenty of bait. I'm still catching plenty of bait with a 10 footer, and I can manage it, but it was a little bit of an ego thing when I was younger. You know, I wanted everybody to see me throwing a 12 and a 14 foot net. And I still see a lot of people out there when you're ordering nets, recreational anglers, professional anglers, charter captains, you know, I mean, we've all done it. I see guys at the bridge still and in deep water, and they're out there and we're throwing nets beside each other. And yeah, that's great, dude. You're throwing a 14 foot net, but you're opening it like a 6 footer. So why are you throwing a 14 foot net? Throw a net that is not too big for you, that you can easily manage. Okay, so that's number one. That's my first rule to choosing a cast net. All right, number two. Where am I catching my bait at? Right now, there's plenty of bait at the bridge, and in the spring, it's going to be in deeper water. The water temperature's still going to be a little cool before it starts coming up. So it's going to be in a little deeper water, whether it's at the bridge, markers, off the beach, wherever. So I'm probably going to throw a net that sinks a little bit faster. Okay? So when I'm looking for a net, me personally, and I'm try to give y'all a size reference if you haven't met me, if we don't know each other. How tall am I, Jake? I used to be almost 6 foot, but I'm gonna say 5'11" ish, on a good day.
Honest.
And we're not going to talk about weight. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. We're just going to talk about height. So don't question the weight. It's been a long winter. I've ate a lot and I've stayed warm. But so me personally, when I'm throwing at the bridge and on the markers in deeper water, this is the net I'm throwing. Okay, that is a 10-foot 3/8 1.4. So that 1.4 is very important because that's the weight. Obviously it says 1.4 pounds per foot. That's the weight. The 3/8 is a little bigger mesh. The other option we have is the 10-foot quarter, which I have one here, Jake, in the bag still. That's a 10-foot 1/4 inch 1.4. So these nets are identical other than the size of the mesh. This is a 1/4 inch mesh. This is a 3/8 inch mesh. Same weight, same length, same net. But it's very important to understand what that mesh size does, okay? So a 1/4 inch mesh is a lot smaller mesh. It's half the size, pretty much, of a 1/2 inch or a 3/8. You can see the difference in the stretch. All right. So number one, I've got to decide what size bait's there. If I see good, 3-inch bait, I know I'm going to be able to throw the 3/8. The 3/8 is going to sink faster. So if that bait's spooky and it's running out from under the net, this net is going to sink faster. And the reason why, even though they're identical weight and everything else, is because there's a lot more material that goes into making a 1/4 inch net than a 3/8 because the mesh is so much smaller. So this net is going to hit the water and more or less float like a sheet, where the other net is going to hit the water and sink like a rock. All right. So the bigger mesh, for me personally, the 10-foot 3/8 1.4, I'm going to throw when the bait is down deep. I'm going to throw when the bait is spooky, skittish, it's running from the net. And I'm going to throw in heavier current. All right, so that's very important to remember. In heavier current, this net's going to help you a lot, the 3/8 compared to the 1/4. Okay, so let's see what else we got, Jake. And then also
we got the big net.
We got the big net. I haven't thrown this net, but Jake has thrown this net. This is a 12-foot 3/8. Let me see if I can even stretch this thing out. This is a 12-foot 3/8 what is it, Jake?
1.8.
A 1.8. All right, so let's see, 1.8. Let me try to do the math real quick. I can tell you how much this net weighs. So a 12-foot net that's a 1.5 would weigh 18 pounds. So this net is roughly going to weigh, is that right? 12-foot net, it's a 1.5. I don't know. This net probably weighs about 20 pounds.
It's heavy, that's all we know.
But so this is a 12-footer. This is a net that I personally do not throw. Jake likes to throw it. He can throw it. I mean, that's fine as long as he can throw it. All right, so we've talked about throwing in deeper water, what the difference in the mesh is in deeper water, how it affects the sink rate of the nets. So let's talk about the flats, because the flats, I love when the bait gets on the flats. I can go 100 yards and catch bait and turn around and come back and pick up for a trip, and it's amazing. The only downside to throwing on the flats is you're going to catch grass. You're going to catch a bunch of other stuff, like you may catch pinfish, catfish, blowfish, whatever's mixed in there. But here's the deal with the flats. So the flats, you can get away with throwing a lot lighter net. You don't have to throw this giant 12-foot 3/8 net. You don't even have to throw the 10-foot 3/8 or 10-foot 1/4 1.4 pound nets. Jake is actually throwing, and this is the net I'm going to be throwing. Jake is actually throwing a 12-foot 1/4 1.1. And the reason he's doing that is a couple reasons. So the 1/4 inch is because a lot of times the bait hatches in the summer. Well, the bait's going to hatch in the summer, not a lot of times, but the bait's going to hatch in the summer, and you're going to get a lot of fry bait. So that 1/4 inch helps you catch that smaller bait without getting it, we call it Christmas tree so bad because it looks like a Christmas tree with ornaments hanging off of it when they get hung. So you're not gonna gill as many baits. And the 1.1, besides making it easier on your back, you're only throwing in 2 to 4 feet of water, so the sink rate is not going to be as important. And you want to throw a lighter net, as light a net as you can get away with on the flats, because the lighter the net, the less you're actually raking the grass into the net, if that makes any sense. So where a 1.4 or a 1.8 pound net is going to hit, it's going to sink through the grass, and then when that net closes, it's going to scoop all that grass with it and bring it all in the boat, make a mess, and clear out a spot where there used to be seagrass. The 1.1 is actually going to fall and lay on top of the grass, and it's going to do a lot less damage to the bottom. It's going to do a lot less damage to your boat. You're not going to be cleaning up as much. It's just going to make it a lot nicer all the way around. You're going to gill less bait with a 1/4 inch. So the size mesh and the weight, the pounds per foot, is super, super, super important when you're purchasing a net. Going into it, knowing what applications you're going to be throwing the net in, what situations. Am I going to be throwing deep? Am I going to be throwing shallow? Am I looking for bait on the flats? Am I looking for bait on the bridges and the markers? These all make a difference when you're deciding which net to use, because like I said at the beginning of the video, I see a lot of guys that you're on the bait, you can open a net, you can clearly throw a net, you're throwing the wrong net. And we see that daily when it's bait catching season, and bait catching season is coming up sooner than later. And I'll be excited, dude. I'm freezing. This isn't right. This isn't right for Florida to feel like this right now. But yeah, I've kind of rambled on. Jake, what do you think? Tell us about the net, dude. What's your okay, get over here. No, don't try to stop the video. Get over here. Talk to me.
I don't know. It's cold.
Well, what do you think are some of the most important things when it comes to picking a net? How people can pick the right net?
I mean, definitely, like you said, the weight and the size mesh. Really, I mean, what you kind of went over a little bit, the length of the net is super, super important. I mean, because we know some people, I mean, they've tried 10 footers, they've tried 12 footers, stuff like that. I mean, and the 8-footer works for them because they can open it all the way.
There's no shame. Throw a net that you can handle.
I mean, if you're going to take an 8-footer and open it like an 8-footer, or take a 10-footer and open it like a 6-footer, it's worth it for you to throw the 8-footer.
Yeah, throw the 8-footer or throw the 6-footer.
Instead of being ashamed of yourself, you know, because, oh, I got a little net on my boat. But it's really all about how comfortable you feel with the net. I mean, and what net has proven itself, I mean, in the right conditions. Like,
yeah, that's good, Jake.
Besides that, I don't know what else I'm supposed to say.
I just got him out here because you guys haven't seen him since last year, so I wanted to make sure that I put Jake in the video somewhere. Now he's gonna go edit it and he may cut himself out of it, but we're gonna do our best to keep that from
10 seconds of fame.
We're gonna do our best to keep that from happening. All right, guys, so we've rambled enough. Like I said, if you want to book a trip, all our information will be at the end of the video. You can go to our website, you can go to Dropout Cast Nets website, get your nets ready, get your equipment ready for spring. If you have any questions, hit us up, hit Nick up. We can help you choose the right cast net. That way you're not wasting your money. Oh, and they have an outstanding warranty. I didn't say anything about the warranty, and we haven't taught you guys about it. They just came out with it in the last couple months. So when you purchase a Dropout cast net, and I hope I'm right when I say this, you have a 50% lifetime warranty. No matter what happens to that net, guys. If you throw it, if I come out my front yard and I throw it up in this tree and I try to hang from it and I rip the net, I can get another net for 50% of the cost, 50% of the original cost. Yeah. And that's lifetime. So that's huge. I mean, to me, that's huge.
I probably wouldn't go for like the cast net insurance fraud like you were just saying, but I mean, if you throw it on a marker or something,
yeah,
and mess up the net, then I would go get a new one. But
that was my bad. I was trying to give an example, and I'm freezing, and yeah, I was trying to give an example. But like I said, definitely go to their website, read up on their warranty information. You can't beat their warranty. And if you have any questions, we'll be happy to help you. Nick will be happy to help you from Dropout Cast Nets. And it's spring's coming, man. Let's get ready to fish. All right?
I'm ready.
You ready? All right, Jake, take us out of here. Until next time.
God bless everybody watching, and we'll see you on the water.
Did it, dude. Congratulations.